Hey guys, it's Jona, and it's time for the next episode of DCOMmentary. DCOMmentary is a series where I take a look at Disney Channel original movies and Disney Channel original series and just talk about some fun facts and the history behind them and my past experiences with them. When I first came up with the idea for the series, I was just so excited to finally have an excuse to talk about Wizards of Waverly Place. I'm so overcome with excitement, I can't even talk. Wizards of Waverly Place holds the just biggest special place in my heart. Looking back, I think that Wizards of Waverly Place was my first, fangirl experience. I was so into Wizards of Waverly Place, it basically became my life while it was on. And if you don't believe me, I still have this beautiful, magical purple, green, and light blue scarf and this tank top from when I used to dress like Alex. And when I mean dress like Alex, I mean I made this my life's work. For school. What I would do is I would go to Google Images or whatever at home and I would print out Alex's outfits from different episodes, and then I would take my printed packet full of Alex's outfits to the mall, and my mom would help me try to find things that really resembled what Alex wore in the show. I just thought she had the coolest style ever, and looking back, yes, some of it's a little interesting choice, but a lot of it's really cute, I'm not gonna lie. So I would wear this scarf and this tank top with a very similar t-shirt, very similar color, and purple jeans, and I felt so good in that outfit. That was my favorite one. I had a ton of Alex-inspired outfits, but that one gave me so much confidence. And yeah, it might seem a little bit out there in choices, but it's actually really cute and stylish in my opinion. I sadly don't have purple pants anymore. I wish I did. But you get the idea. Alex's spirit is still alive and well within my fashion choices. Actually, I think Alex has molded me as a person. Honestly, I think Alex Russo defined a lot of us, or at least infiltrated our personalities. Let's get right into it. I want to talk about Wizards. I am so excited. Wizards of Waverly Place premiered on October 12th, 2007 to 5.9 million viewers. That feels like a pretty high number. It followed the premiere of Twitches 2. I can't remember if I watched the premiere of Twitches 2 or Wizards, but I like to think that I did. I have a vague memory of watching Twitches 2, but I feel like I had Halloween candy, so I guess it wasn't the premiere. Wizards ran for 4 seasons. That's 8. It ran for 4. And it ended on January 6, 2012 to 9.76 million viewers, the most watched finale in Disney Channel history at the time. I don't know if it still holds the record. I probably should have looked that up. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. It was created by Todd J. Greenwald, and it was produced by It's a Laugh Productions. I feel like we all know the little It's a Laugh, it makes a little noise. It's It's a Laugh. That's you know what I mean? The little title end card thing of It's a Laugh Productions that's at the end of every Disney Channel show, it feels like. Todd really wanted Wizards of Waverly Place. At the time, it wasn't called that, but he really wanted this show to be set away from, the glitz and glamour of LA. I guess it was originally going to take place in Ireland? Which, I can't imagine. It's so New York to me. Ultimately, as I just said, it did end up taking place in New York. More specifically, Greenwich, New York. Is that how you say it? People out there are going to roast me. Is it Greenwich? 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 I really don't know. So I guess if it had been set in Ireland, it was going to be called The Amazing O'Malleys. Ooh, O'Malley the Alley Cat. It sounds like Aristocats. It was also called Disney Wizards at one point, which feels like the laziest title they could have possibly tested. Folks, we have a Disney Channel show and it's about wizards. What do we call it? How about Disney Wizards? That's it! That's the one! The executive producer, Peter Murrieta, at one point rewrote the pilot. So there was an original pilot, then there's this new pilot. I would love to see the very first original pilot and see what the differences are. Was it called The Amazing O'Malleys? Was it called Disney Wizards? How could we talk about Wizards of Waverly Place without taking time throughout this video, not only once, not twice, not thrice, but constantly, to talk about Selena Gomez? Selena Gomez was discovered at an open casting call at age 12 in Austin, Texas. Imagine being able to say that you were in line behind her or you got to talk to her before she became a star. That would just be the coolest ever. I wouldn't even be mad if she got picked over me. I would be like, it's an honor. She did appear in a couple of pilots. The most fascinating one for me is that she appeared in the pilot for Arwen, which was obviously a spin-off with the character Arwen from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And I believe this is still on YouTube. I know at one point it was, like, the original unaired pilot of this. But, like, why didn't we get this? I love Arwen, and Brian Stepanek is so funny. I know we're not talking about him, we're talking about Selena, but still, I bet that show would have done well. But maybe I should be grateful, because if that had taken off and become a crazy phenomenon, we might not have gotten Wizards of Waverly Place, at least not the one we know. Selena also filmed for another pilot, Stevie Sanchez, which I think was based on Miranda Sanchez from Lizzie McGuire. It was based on, like, her family life. I want to say Selena played her little sister? Which that also sounds pretty interesting, but like I said, I'm so glad that Selena wasn't taken by these projects, because what would we have today without her being in Wizards? At one point, there was a version of the pilot, I believe with Selena, that had only 2 siblings, Jordan and Julia, as like the Wizards. Then, as David Henry and Jake T. Austin were brought on, it became about the O'Malley siblings, and their names were Brooke, Sully, and Max. Sully just makes me automatically think of Monsters, Inc. And if it doesn't make me think of Monsters, Inc., it makes me think of that one Tom Hanks movie. I do not think of Wizards. I do not think of, like, I guess that would have been Justin, would have been Sully? That's terrible. So then it changed from Brooke, Sully, and Max to Alexa, Aaron, and Max. And then somehow it ended up being Alex, Justin, and Max, which just sounds right. I mean, come on. Chef's kiss. Somewhere in there, the characters of, like, Alex and Justin were supposed to be twins, which could have been an interesting dynamic, but I like the whole older brother, middle sister, younger brother. Their dynamic is just so good as it is. I feel like every change was meant to happen, because what we ended up with is perfect. Here's a fun fact for you. Joe Jonas originally auditioned to be Justin. What? I just can't even, what? Like, does that blow your mind? Because it's blowing mine. It's blown my mind up into a million pieces 1,000 times. Like, what? I can kind of picture it, but also I just love David Henry as Justin. And that feels so weird to say, because I am such a Joe girl. Where is this audition footage? I know somebody at Disney Channel has access to these archives. Just leak it, please. I won't tell anyone, just leak it for me. Please. Demi Lovato's sister Dallas was also supposed to be a series regular, but was cut from the pilot. She did, however, appear in episode 19, so that's cool. Good for her, I guess. I would be disappointed if I was cut from a show that ended up being so massive, but at least she got to be in episode 19. There is a story out there of Demi Lovato attending a taping, and I guess, like, between scenes or takes, they were like, does anybody in the audience have a talent? You know, like that one episode of That's So Raven when Raven sings at a taping. Oh, that was so funny. But I guess Demi Lovato got up and sang, and like all the Disney people that were working there were like, oh, that's our next star. Oh wait, they were like, that's the song. I cracked myself up. In Wizards of Waverly Place, the wizard family, the Russos, own a sub shop, which I always thought was so cool. I thought it was incredible, honestly, that they like lived above their sub shop. I thought that was amazing, because you could just go down and get a sub whenever you wanted. And how easy it would be to get to work. Like, what a commute, just down the stairs. But anyway, Todd incorporated a sub shop because he had always dreamed of owning a deli, which is like a pretty random but pretty cool dream, if I'm being honest. Who here remembers when Alex and Justin sang the song Make It Happen? I feel like it was a fever dream, but it happened. It was a thing. And I guess Todd just really wasn't the biggest fan of that because he felt it like strayed too far from the premise. And I bet that was just Disney trying to launch Selena Gomez into being a pop star, which I mean, I guess ultimately worked. So I guess maybe Make It Happen was a good thing. Whenever I was little, I thought it was like a cool song, but I remember kind of being like, what? What happened to the original plot of the show? Why are they in the sub shop jamming out to this rock song? Peter Murrieta, who I mentioned earlier, was an executive producer, and he did leave the show before the 4th season. I do remember the 4th season having like a very different vibe. Maybe not like a very different, but there was definitely a difference. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but from what I remember, it was a thing to me. Wizards of Waverly Place was filmed at Hollywood Center Studios, and I am so sad that I never got to go to one of the tapings or to like see the set in person. If you attended a taping, if you have been to the set, then you can wear a badge of honor and wear it proudly. It's beautiful. I'm happy for you. and not at all jealous. Selena Gomez has said that Rachel Green from Friends inspired Alex, which, like, I kind of see, but Alex is so much more iconic. I'm just gonna say that. How could I say something so controversial, yet so brave and so true? Maybe in, like, mainstream pop culture, Rachel Green is more iconic, and I do like Friends a lot. Very much. I've watched this whole series many times, but Alex Russo, in my mind, stands out as more iconic. Alex Russo... Like, just take a minute and think about your favorite Alex Russo moments and lines. They're so standout. And I think what makes Alex extra iconic is that she's so different from, like, a typical Disney Channel lead character. Especially for, like, the girl characters. I don't know, I just feel like Selena really took Alex in a different direction, and an amazing direction, and I love Alex Russo so much. If I had to pick between Alex and Rachel Green, it would be a no-brainer. Alex, we're going. Selena did keep her wand from the show, and that makes me so happy. I like to think that she keeps it in her boots in the wintertime. Selena and David would have thumb wars between takes. Is that not the most wholesome thing you have ever heard in your entire life? Speaking of David, he wrote 2 episodes. I had no idea. That's amazing. He wrote Alex's logo and Meet the Werewolves. He wrote them. That is so cool. I love when Disney lets their stars take on other avenues, is that the right word, or like try out new things. You know, I feel like Debbie Ryan directed an episode of Jessie and like got that opportunity. It's so cool when they get to do that. In the 4th season, Jake T. Austin didn't play Max for part of it. Bailey Madison played Max due to like a mix-up with a spell. And I remember that being so random. It was because Jake had scheduling conflicts, but it was just like, what? But Bailey Madison was adorable. She was so little and so cute as Max. But it was just like it definitely felt like a forced storyline, let's be honest. Interestingly, speaking of Max, Selena Gomez thought that Max should win the wizard competition. I can't remember who I thought should win it, but I really wanted Alex to win. I think that Justin deserved to win. I mean, if I were Justin and I didn't win, I would be devastated. After all of that work and discipline and dedication, I can't imagine. But like, of course, Alex was gonna win. Of course, we didn't have this whole series starring Selena Gomez for her not to win the wizard competition. Frankly, I don't think Max was even in the running. I'm sorry. Greg Sulkin, who played Alex's boyfriend Mason a couple of times throughout the series, like, no spoilers, even though I've spoiled other things, became really close friends with David Henry, and they ended up being neighbors in real life, which is adorable and wholesome. Why is this so wholesome? All of the stores on Waverly Place are named after writers, which is just like a really cool detail. It reminds me of Main Street in Disney. The spells were also versions of the writers' names. The spells were also just so iconic. I remember Camilla Kaporum, oh wait, no, maybe I don't. Camilla Kaporum, Sumanuminavi, something like that. Oh. But they were so fun to say. It was so fun to pretend that I was a wizard. I wanted to be a wizard so bad. This was my Harry Potter. I have never seen or read Harry Potter. That's a lie. Recently I've read the first 2 books, but I've never seen, like, I don't know Harry Potter. So this, the way people feel about Harry Potter, is the way I feel about Wizards of Waverly Place. These are my wizards. Apparently, there is a Rent poster in the sub shop. I need to go back and find it because that speaks to me as an adult now. Like, when I was little, I didn't know Rent. When this was airing, I didn't know Rent. I would never have noticed. My mom would have noticed. I should have asked her. But I love that. Whatever prop person put that on there, thank you, because that's amazing. I feel like Alex would be a really big Rent fan. Wizards of Waverly Place was just a massive success. It won its fair share of awards, including 2 Primetime Emmys for Children's Outstanding Programming, or Outstanding Children's Programming. I totally forgot what order the award goes in. It also had its own DCOM that premiered on August 28th, 2009. That was a great DCOM. Stay tuned for a future episode of my series all about the Wizards of Waverly Place movie. In 2013, there was a standalone reboot reunion special type thing. It was called The Wizards Return, Alex vs. Alex, and this special doesn't really stick out in my mind, if I'm being honest. Not like the movie and not like a lot of the iconic episodes from the actual series, but it is cool that they gave it another go. There was a soundtrack album featuring songs inspired by and from the movie and series, and there were also 2 video games, both of which I didn't have. Wizards of Waverly Place did really launch the career of Selena Gomez, both in music and in acting. Through being on Wizards, she got signed to Disney's Hollywood Records, and they created Selena Gomez and the Scene, with such hits such as Round and Round, because that was the first one that came to mind. I do think it also launched Jake T. Austin's career. Like, I feel like he went on to be on The Fosters and then got in some kind of trouble and wasn't on The Fosters and was replaced by Noah Centineo, and they thought no one would notice. It's also just one of the most popular Disney Channel series of all time, and for a good reason. It was incredible. It was so funny, so heartfelt, so imaginative, so magical. Just everything about it, from the writing to the costumes to the directing to the acting to the sets, was so on point and so good. Everybody was at the top of their game while they were making this. It was something that families could enjoy together. I mean, my parents loved Wizards of Waverly Place. They loved watching it with me, and it's probably the only Disney Channel series that we all watched together. Parents loved it, kids loved it, critics loved it, as evidenced by their 2 Emmys and just the great reviews it got over the course of the years. I just feel like Wizards' legacy is so much bigger than I can even put into words. This is a show that if and when I ever had children, I would make them watch, and they would love it. I know they would love it, because who doesn't love Wizards of Waverly Place? I just have such fond memories of watching these episodes. It's just like, it makes my heart feel warm and fuzzy. And I know that if I ever met Selena Gomez, which probably is never going to happen, but I would just thank her for being a part of this and for bringing Alex Russo to life. Like, I'm thinking about Alex, I'm thinking about all of these just standout moments in my head. She was just so fantastic. She was funny, she was lovable, she was flawed, she was awesome, she was just everything. Hands down, my favorite Disney Channel series character ever. And Justin, oh my gosh, Justin, just the sweetest. He was a heartthrob, nerdy boy that I just loved. He was so sweet, he was so dedicated and focused and so smart, but he just really cared about his family. Even when he was annoyed with Alex, it was all based in love, and vice versa. It was all love. And I thought Max was hilarious. He had such great comedic timing. Jake T. Austin, they all did in this show. And the mom, the knock it off lady, oh my gosh, and the dad, everybody was just so good. And Harper, of course, Jennifer Stone is Harper. Absolutely amazing. The quirkiest, best friend character ever. Her outfits were everything. Can I please have all of them? The creativity the costume department had for Harper was just incredible. I feel like this was the first Disney Channel show where I really looked forward to the next episode and was ready for the premieres of the episodes. I remember specifically, I'm sure this was a big thing for everybody, the episode where Harper finds out about Alex being a wizard. That was a huge deal. The hype for that was so real for me. And there were other instances of just being so excited to see what would happen next, because I loved these characters so much and I cared so much about their journeys, all of them, every single person, even the mom and dad. Honestly, I could talk about Wizards for probably the rest of my life, and it would be so fun. I would love to hear in the comments what you thought about Wizards, what you think about Wizards. If you have any fond memories of Wizards of Waverly Place, please just fill the comments with Wizards of Waverly Place memories for me and my heart. And as always, there will be emojis in the description box for what the next episode will be. I will say that it is a DCOM, so keep that in mind when you're making your guesses. And I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people.